Welcome, sports fans, to another episode of Sports with Ed. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the Lions Falcons game on Sunday, Khabib Nurmagomedov's retirement, as well as some other interesting tidbits, one of them being the Lions trade yesterday. To lead this segment off, however, I'm going to discuss the Lions Falcons game a little bit that occurred on Sunday. As most of you know, the Lions were able to put together a game-winning drive by Matt Stafford, who threw the game-winning touchdown pass to T.J.Hockenson. However, they needed the extra point to win. On the extra point, they got penalized, which moved them back to the 40, which made it a 48-yard extra point in essence. However, on that extra point, the Falcons were penalized for being offsides. The Lions declined the penalty and the game ended. There were some interesting things, and I'll get to what I just mentioned in a minute, but there were some other interesting things about that game. There were some questionable penalties that were called, especially on the Falcons, which for this Lions fan, I don't think I've ever seen that in a game. I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth for sure. However, the end of that game was very interesting. The Lions were able to score because Todd Gurley scored a touchdown, mainly because the Lions led him so that they could get the ball back with a chance to tie the game and conceivably win it. Looking at it, it didn't look like Todd Gurley broke the plane of the goal line to me. Now, to me, the plane of the goal line doesn't begin at the front of the line, and I think the rule needs to be changed so that it's clear to everybody. I think the ball should have to cross the entire goal line for it to be a touchdown. And that ball did not cross the goal line entirely. Good thing for the Lions that they did call it a touchdown, though, because as Matt Stafford stated, without that, they would not have been able to march down the field and get the game-winning touchdown. The thing about that extra point is, though, and one thing I'm surprised that I didn't hear any analyst, some of whom know way more about football than I do, like Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, etc. and so forth. Not one of them mentioned the fact that a game cannot end on a defensive penalty. I've always heard that a half or the game cannot end in a defensive penalty, and yet the Lions-Falcons game did end on a defensive penalty. That denied the Falcons a chance at the kickoff, or kickoff to try to win the game. I am surprised that Falcons fans are not jumping up and down screaming about that to this day. Absolutely amazing to me that that did not occur. With that having been said, take a win in the NFL or period any way you can get it, and certainly it was a big benefit for the Lions to win that game because it sure didn't look like they were going to. In the next segment, I'm going to discuss a little bit about the Lions trade that they made yesterday with the Cowboys. Stay tuned to Sports with Ed on Ed's Sports Channel.